Fine. So, right. So that is the use of the service account. Service account only will read the data from the disk. It will only write the data to the disk. Whatever tables you are creating, whatever the values you are inserting. So those values it has to return to the table first. Table is stored in which location? It is stored in a data file. Data file is stored in which location? It is stored in a database. Database is stored in which location? In a SQL server. But everything at the end of the day, every item is stored in a disk. Whatever tables you are creating, those will be stored in a disk, right? So that's why it is a permanent memory. So till you delete the items, once you have stored that particular items to the disks, so those will be stored permanently until the machine is corrupted. The data will be stored in the same disk only, okay? Or else you have to delete the data, then only the data will be deleted. Till that time the data will be stored permanently into the disk. So you have to write the data to the disk. Who will write the data to the disk? Your service account will write the data to the disk. And if you just created an employee table, you want to see how many records are there in that employee table, okay? You want to read all the records. In that case, what you will do? Select star from employee. Select star from employee means what? So it is going to read the data from the table. Who will again read the data from the table? Again your service account only will read the data from the table. So service account is that much useful. Don't think like service account. Don't neglect the service account. It's very useful. And service account, it should be okay. An account should be created for the service account in the local machine. Usually in the organization, we'll create it in the Active Directory. And of course, we will give sysadmin permissions, or else we will make it as an administrator. Service account usually it should be an administrator. Why? Because don't know in which location we are going to store the data. If I want to store the data in different location, if the service account, why? Because the service account has to write the data to different location. If the service account is not sysadmin or else administrator, it cannot write the data to which location, wherever location we want, okay? So it should be a local administrator so that it can access all the folders in the machine, whether to write or whether to read also. If it is not a administrator, if it is unable to log into any other folder, in that case, if you are trying to run a select query, that file is there in a separate folder. If this service account doesn't have permissions on that folder, then your select query will fail. Okay, so a lot of issues are there with the service account. So make sure you are using a proper service account, and make sure you have a better idea what the service account will do in the SQL server, right? So now for now, if I want to go for I have already installed a SQL server with the default service accounts. Now I want to change the default service account to customized service account. So in that case, what I'll do, what is the first step I have to do? What is the first step I have to do?
Create a user in Windows.
Very good. I have to create a user in the Windows server. Okay, so how to create a user in the Windows server? Just to go to start, run. You can use Windows R also. So there is a shortcut for creating the users. What is that shortcut? lusrmgr.msc. First of all, I'll show you the service account. Okay, before creating the user, first I'll show you the service account. On which service account it is running, I'll show you. Okay, if you use the configuration manager also, you can see the service account, or else if you use the services.msc, if you go for services also, you can see on which service account the SQL server is running. Okay, so this is my configuration manager. If you simply select this is my main service. Okay, it is currently log on as field. You can see log on as, right? Who will log on as a service account? Your local system is a high privileged account. Okay, so that's why you can use local system. But the problem here with the local system is, what is the problem here with the local system? All services, most of the services and most of the softwares will use local system only. I don't want this local system for my SQL server. I want a dedicated separate account for my SQL server. So that's why I will not use local system. I'll create a separate service account, separate user. I'll make it as an administrator. I will make it that particular service account. I will make that user as a service account for the SQL server, right? So now I want to change this local system. So in the organization, how service accounts names will be, usually if it is a production service account, PRD, SVC, ACT. like that. Don't think like in every organization that service account is like that only. Everyone will have separate codes, different standards will be there. As per their standards they will create a user. You can use your name also as a service account. Why? Because you are also a user in the local laptop, you are also a user in the server, so you can use your name also. Service account means simply a user which is having a read and write permissions across the machine, and which is having a administrator permissions across the machine. Right, now I'll create a user, then I'll change the service account here. Okay. Right. Now let me go to this local user mgr.msc, lusr mgr.msc. First I have to create users, right? Go to user section. Okay, double click on it. Here you can see only 2 users are there. Now I'll create one more user here. How to create? Right click on this white space, click on the new user. Okay. So I'll give like this. Okay, prd underscore svc underscore act. PRD means production server service account. SVC means service, ACT means account. You should give a strong password. Okay, don't give different passwords in different scenario. Throughout your course select one default password, a strong password. Use the same password in all the instances. If you are giving different passwords in different, in the whole course almost all we have to use 15 to 20 passwords. Okay, that's why make sure you have selected one strong password and try to give the same password from beginning of the machine, like login to the machine to the end of the machine. Okay. Right, user cannot, remember one thing, user cannot change the password, and password never expires. If the password expires of the, if the service account password expires, that service will not be up and running. Why? Because service is trying to log into the machine. Okay, with which help? That user account help. If the user is unable to log into the machine, if the user password is expired, if the user is unable to log into the machine, okay, then user cannot start, so that your service also will not start, so that your SQL server also will not start, it will be down. Okay, so make sure your password now, you have to select password never expires. Remember one thing, who will do all this work? Who will create the users in the organization? You're discussing so
Developers.
many, not developers. Okay, not developers. So this is a Windows people work. Okay, we doesn't have permissions to create the users. The whole work, which we are creating a user in the Windows level, and after creating the user we have to make this user as an administrator. Everything can be done by the Windows people only. They will only have proper privileges or permissions. We doesn't have permissions and all. But for us, for our practice, we are only the Windows people, we are only the SQL DBA people, right? So that's why we are creating, right? That's it, simply create the account. Right, account is created. If you just click on close, you can see the account here. Right, now I have created my user. That's it. I just created my user. Here this user can be a Shanmukh, this user can be a Ram, this user can be a Ravi, anything. Okay, but just for understanding purpose, as this is a service account, I just named the account name like this. Right, fine. Now I have to make this account as an administrator. This is simply a user. I have to make this account as an administrator. How to make this account as an administrator? Go to groups. You can see administrators group here. Double click on it and just simply add that account name here. Okay, PRD underscore SVC underscore ACT. Okay, just click on check names. If your account is correct, if you wrote the account without spelling mistakes, then once you check the names, it will come with a computer name. This is your computer name slash account name. Okay, just click OK. Otherwise, if any spelling mistakes are there, you'll get error. That's it. Okay, just apply. Okay, if you add any user into the administrators group, automatically he will be converted into administrator. There is nothing, no need to give any permissions like that. Okay, simply if I want to make Ram as an administrator, I have to create a RAM account. I have to add this RAM account into the administrators group. What are the privileges are there for the administrators group? All the privileges can be applied on the RAM. So RAM can do anything. Ravi can do anything. If I added Ravi into the administrators group, Ravi can do anything. But before adding, I have to create Ravi account, right? So I had just created the Ravi account or else the service account, and I just made him as a administrator. Now it is a local admin. Now it can do anything. That service account can do anything. Now I have to change the service account, right? So you can change in two ways, either from configuration manager or else services.msc. Okay, right? Let us use services.msc. Go to same like how I am doing in the services.msc. Here also you can do the same way. Okay, if you go to configuration manager, right click properties. Okay, go to here, you can see log on, right? It is using built-in account and you can use this account. Here you can select here, or else if you go to services account, services data, sometimes what happened is while changing the service account from the configuration manager, you will get errors. Okay, that's why it is always better to use services.msc. Okay, you can see all the services here. Okay, including SQL services also. Select any service and just type yes, you can get the services with yes. You can see here, it is using local system. This is my logon as field. This is my main service. Okay, MSSQL server in the brackets. You have to change the service account for main service as well as agent service also. Only for two services you have to change the service account, main service as well as agent service. Okay, for these two services you have to change the service account, right? I have to change it. Right click, same properties. Here you can see login as tab. Go to login as tab. It is using local system account. Select this account. Okay, give the account name here. Make sure in the, again I'll tell you while configuring of Active Directory and all, here you have to select the domain, company domain you have to select. Okay, locations, company name will be there. I'll tell you once I have created the domain and all, I'll tell you. Okay, as of now, make sure computer name is selected here and give the service account name prd underscore svc underscore act. Just check names, right? So it is correct. Click OK, and of course it will show the password. Don't think that that is our password. It's not our password. Give the password. While creating the service account, you gave one password, right? That password you have to give. Don't try to give new password while creating the service account. While creating this account, you gave one password, right? That password we have to give it here. Okay, right? Password and confirm password, right? Just apply. Okay. What it is saying, the account has granted the logon as service, right? Yes. Okay. Click OK. The new logon name will not take effect until you stop and restart the service. Okay. What it is saying. So, okay, you changed the service account. That's fine. But it will not take effect until you reboot the service. That means what? You have to restart the SQL Server service. Then only it will take effect. Otherwise, if you don't restart till that time, till you restart the server, not server, SQL server, not Windows server, till you restart the SQL server, it will use local system as a service account. Okay, so right, what we have to do now, we have to restart the SQL server service. So that's why you cannot do it on the regular basis. Whenever you want, you cannot change the service account. Usually we will never change the service account in the organization once the installation is completed. After the installation, in the post installation step only, we will change the service account. After that, we will never change. But there are some instances, there are some scenarios where you have to change the service account. Okay, if organization wants to change the standard of the service account, they will change the whole service accounts. In such cases, you have to change the service account, or else if you are installing a new SQL server, in such case also you have to change the service account. So if you are trying to change the service account in the production hours, in the business hours means what? Whenever the business is running, that is called business hours. Usually, what is the banking business hours? Okay, Monday to Friday or Saturday morning. Now because of this COVID, they are just managing from 9 to 1 like that, but usually 9 to 5. That 9 to 5 working period is called business hours. Okay, so it depends upon the project. If you select this Indian bank, you can see 9 to 5, but you select any other bank of US bank and all, that is different timings. Okay, so that working period is called business hours. During the working period, if you change the service account, what will happen? You have to restart the service. If you restart the service, what will happen? People cannot connect to the SQL server. Their applications will fail. Their business will down. Got it? So that's why without permissions, without approvals, you cannot change the service account in the organization. In the beginning, after the installation, you can change. Why? Because we didn't hand over the machine to the application team, right? till we are handover, till the project is live, you can do multiple times reboot. But once the project is live, if you want to reboot the SQL server, if you want to restart the Windows server also, you have to take the proper privileges, proper approvals. Okay, without proper approvals, without proper privileges you will have, of course, you are a SQL DB, right? You will have privileges, but approval should be there. If without concerning anyone, if you simply restart the SQL server by your own, that will be very risky. Don't know what will happen in the next minute. Okay, so they can do anything. You can understand the situation. Okay, so don't change the service account without having proper approvals and all. They will approve using usually in the weekends you can change, in the Sunday you can change, you can on the Monday, like where there is no business, then only you can change. They will give you some time slot. In that time slot only you have to do. Why? Because you are going to restart the server, right? So this is all about service account. Any issues, any doubts in the service account?
On the right, on the left side, you restart the service here.
Yeah, you can restart from here, right click here also you can restart it. Anyway, you can do it, or else from here also you can restart it. Let me restart the service, okay? Right. If the service comes online, everything is fine. If the service doesn't come online, once you changed the service account, if the services doesn't come online, something problem with the service account. Either the service account doesn't have a administrator privileges, or else maybe something happened, or else password expires, or else something different things. Okay, some issue is there with the service account, like that. Okay, so make sure your service account is like proper. Okay, right now let me change it for the agent service. Where is my agent? Yeah, this is my agent. Okay, right click, go to properties, log on this account, browse, prd underscore svc underscore svt, check names, click ok, give the password. Okay, apply. Okay, right now see here, earlier you can see local system here. Why I can see dot slash prd svc act?
System name.
Very good. Why? Because once you give the service account, usually how it will treat computer name slash service account name, right? So here it will simply represent the computer name as a dot. So that's why you can see dot slash service account name, right? I have started the agent. So this is how we have to change the service account. Very important thing. Okay. If you like don't understand about service account, let me know. Again, I'll try to help. Okay. If you are good, then we'll proceed. Right now,
Is it man?
yeah. Just ask me the question.
Is it mandatory? I mean,
To change the service account,
no,
right?
no. To maintain the services in one service account.
Okay, it's not mandatory. You can give your own service. See, for SQL Server, you can give your own service account. For agent server, your own means organization will give you the details. Okay. For SQL Server main service, you can give one service account. For agent service, you can give another service account. If you are having multiple instances in the machine, okay, three instances in the machine. First instance, you can give another one service account. Second instance, another service account. Third instance, another services. But if you keep on creating the service accounts, there will be issue with the passwords. But mostly in the organization, they will use only one service account for all the services related to the SQL Server. One or two, mostly three, like that. That's it. They cannot use multiple different service accounts for different instances and all. Mostly they will use one, two, three service accounts. That's it. If it is a production server, they will create one service account for production environment. If it is a stage, they will create one service account for stage environment. If it is a test, they will create a different service account for test environment. Okay, they will use the same service accounts for all the production, for all the stage services, stage servers, for all the test servers, dev servers and all. It's not mandatory. Okay, if you want, you can give it, but it will create a lot of confusion. That's why usually people will prefer only one service account for all the services. Fine.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other issues, any other doubts? right? So right now you can see in the configuration manager also the service account is changed. Okay, the local browser and all no need to change any service account, they can run on the local system. These are the two main services. Main service is this one, engine service, database engine service, and this is our agent service. So these are the two main service accounts, two main services. That's why we'll change it to main service and agent service. Remaining no need to change. Okay, and change means while installation will give, right? So sometimes we'll give it for full text also. Sorry, full text service also will have the same service account like this, PRDS with CACT, right? Remaining shared services and all no need to change, right? Fine. So this is all about your service account. Let me close this window. Just restart once you, as you have already restarted, right? Just refresh it. This is refresh button, you know, right? This is refresh button. And if you want to write any queries, you can write queries like this, right? So anyone having idea like how to write the tables, how to create the tables? Madhu, Prasad, Ram, Ravi, Srinivas, you know how to create a table in the SQL server?
Yes,
Yeah, hi.
Okay, fine. Ram, just let me know if anyone doesn't have an
yes, I
idea.
know. Yes, I know.
Okay, Ravi, Prasad,
Yes, sir.
okay, Madhu,
I know.
okay, Srinivas,
Okay.
okay. Right, I'll just give you a small okay demo on creating the tables, right? So now I want to create a table. So where we can store these tables can be stored in a database. If you write the query here, simply, I want to create a table. I want to create a table in batch 33 database or batch 33 underscore batch 33 new database. Okay. Now if I write a query, create table, something like employee table, I want to create employee. This is the syntax for creating a table. Okay. Integer. I'm inserting two or three columns, employee number, employee name, and salary. Okay, how many columns you want to include? Simply what you want to do, create what you want to create a table. So of course whenever you are creating an object, you have to give the name, right? This is the object name, table name. And how many columns? Table is a collection of columns and rows, right? So rows doesn't have any names. Okay, columns you have to mention the column names, right? So how many columns you want to, your screen text not visible clearly. Okay, so my screen text is not visible, huh? Just give me 1 minute. Let me try to excuse me. Here somewhere 90% is 100% is somewhere.
No, it's fine, sir.
And that plus symbol will be there. Okay, to increase that font, 90% is 100% like that will be there. I'm just checking for that one. Properties window. Just 1 minute. Okay, I'll check it. There is a shortcut for that also. I forgot that shortcut.
I think it.
Which one? Which one? Which one?
Tools, tools under tools.
Okay. 1 minute.
Not there. Project tools windows
Tools Windows.
from the option. Yes.
Customizer.
Down options.
Options. I didn't use it.
Options.
There will
Window.
be, yeah. There will be some. Okay. Fonts and there will be some shortcut. Something shortcut will be there. Let me use it for 20. Okay, is it fine now? Okay.
Yeah, it's fine now.
Fine.
Yeah. Okay. So let me close this properties window. Okay, create table name, and of course, table is a collection of columns, right? Columns. I'm going to include employee number, employee name, and salary. Okay, so employee number is an integer. Okay, employee name. Usually for employee name kind of thing, names kind of thing, we are going to use character or varchar. Okay, like this kind of data types we are going to use. Okay, close it. And salary. Salary is a money, right? Salary column is a money. So you can use, there is a separate data type called money data type. Okay, you can use money data type also. So I'm going to create a table by using these three columns: employee number, employee name, and salary. Okay, so this is the query for that: create table name. Which columns, the column names you have to include here, and the data types also you have to include. Which kind of data it is going to accept is called a data type. Okay, employee number, it cannot accept alphabets, right? So it has to accept number values, so integer. So here also like varchar. Okay, so for names kind of thing, we are going to give varchar, and salary money, right? So that's why I give money. So now I am going to execute this query. Before executing, I am going to parse the query. This is the parse button, and now I am going to execute it. If I want to write the data, if I want to create the table in the batch 33 database, okay, if I run this query now, what will happen?
Error.
I'll get error.
Throws
Why?
an error.
Which error
The
I'll get?
master. You are running on master.
Very good.
So
Okay, so I will
Correct
not get any
database.
error. Yeah, I will not get any error. Okay, I will not get any error. Simply it will execute successfully. But where it will create the object, it will create in the master database. Okay, I will not get any error. It will be successfully executed, but this table will be created in the master database. But what is our requirement? Our requirement is to create the data, create a table in the batch 33. Okay, so in that case, you can use, here you can select batch 33 database, or else you can use one query also. Okay, if you want to uh, do the same action. So for example, here master is there. Now I want to change the database name. Okay, use batch 33. You have to give the database name and go. Okay, now if you execute, this database will be changed to batch 33. Okay, I just executed this line only, batch 33, go. Now I have changed my connection to batch 33. Now I can select this query, I can run this query. Okay, now it was successfully executed. So my object is created in the batch 33. Okay, if you go to batch 33, okay, you can see the employee table. Sometimes this employee table will not be visible. Simply if you don't see the object, simply select the database and refresh it. Whatever you are doing, whatever action you are doing, try to refresh it, then only the objects can be visible. Clear? This is how we have to create the table. Okay, like this, whatever your requirement is there, you can create the table, or else you can use graphical user interface also. Okay, just 1 minute, it is not responding. The machine is not responding. Okay, just 1 minute. I guess the remote connection is closed. Okay, let me cancel this and let me reopen the remote connection. Okay, so just go to this remote connection, click on connect button. Okay, so I guess something happened with the machine. Let me directly log into the machine. Let me check the IP address. Okay, here it was disconnected. Maybe because of some internet issues, it was disconnected. Okay, no issues. Okay, right. Let me expand, but you cannot expand properly. Okay, like this only, you'll get a small screen only, right? So this is the query for creating the table and all. Okay, like this you can see, right? Create table name, and if you use the database name here, what is the query to change the database name? Use database name, or else from this drop down you have to select the database names. Sometimes if you select here, you cannot see other databases. You can see only one database. What it means? What it means? If you select, you cannot see other databases. You can see only one database. What it means? Why you can see only one data? But lot of databases will, don't say no databases. Okay, lot of databases will be there, but you cannot see other databases. You can see only one database. What it means? Can anyone tell?
I didn't get you. Can you explain?
You didn't?
Maybe those are offline.
Very good. One thing, very good. Excellent. Maybe those are offline. In such
Because
case also you cannot see the
because
database. Yeah. Tell me.
you selected that particular DB.
I selected that particular database. That's why I can see the one database. Nothing like that. No, no, not after selecting. Before selecting, I'll click on the drop down button, right? In that, I have to see all those databases, right? But I cannot see the databases. I can see only one database. Why? I or maybe other person can see only one database. Why like that? Simple, okay? If you are if you are unable to see some objects.
Maybe user don't have permissions.
Very good, very good, very good, excellent. Okay, if you are unable to see some objects, means there are two things: either the object is offline or something issue with the object, or else user doesn't have permissions. Okay, if the user doesn't have permissions, in such case also usually you cannot see the objects. Okay, so if user doesn't have permissions to see other databases, if he select the drop down, he cannot see other databases. Okay, he can see only his databases. Okay, so that's why in such case user doesn't have data permissions, that's why he cannot see other databases. Sometimes you may confuse, there are a lot of databases are there, why I cannot see the databases? The reason is either the database is offline or user doesn't have proper permissions to access the databases. Okay, right. I just restarted this virtual machine. Let me check whether this time it will connect. Any other questions in the meanwhile?
సార్ అక్కడ బ్రిడ్జ్ డేటా కింద నేమ్ రావట్లే అని చెప్పాను కదా.
Okay.
అది కనెక్ట్ కావట్లేదు.
I'll show you. Okay, why? Because it is 2012 Windows machine. Okay, so if you go here, okay, you are saying about this virtual machine network settings, right? Go to settings of this machine. Go to network. Sometimes you cannot see other adapters. You can see only one or two adapters here. When you upgrade your virtual machine software, when you upgrade your virtual machine software, you can use only, you can see only one network. Okay, bridge adapter, you can see only one network name here. In such case, if you can't see other adapters, other names, leave it as it is. Okay, make sure you have selected allow all here. Okay, that is one thing. And what is the other setting you have to do? Go to this PC properties, my computer. We are discussing about the our remote settings. Okay, don't confuse. I'm just simply discussing about the remote settings. One user is unable to connect it using remotely. That's why I'm explaining. Okay, go to change settings. Sorry, not here. Yeah, just open this PC. Here you can see remote settings. Click here. Usually it will be selected to the don't allow connections to this computer. Make sure you just selected this option, allow connections. Okay, in such case, if both settings are enabled, then you can automatically connect to the server remotely. Okay, if you're still having issues, I'll check. Okay. Right, now let me check the IP address. Okay, 4323, right? 4323. Right, so this is how we have to create a table. Okay, so we have just created an employee table. Now we are going to insert some of the records in that employee table. Let me insert some of the records in the table. Okay, and the session will be closed in 1 minute. If it was closed, then again just try to connect. Okay. Right, now I want to insert a records in that particular table, right? What is the table employee where it was in the batch 33. So I have to open a query window from batch 33 session, batch 33 database. I have to open a query window. Why? Because my table is there. If I simply open a query window here, from here, it will open a query window from the master data.